The story you're about to hear isn't about a vampire. It's about a man more terrifying than fiction, a man who inspired Dracula himself. But his truth is far darker than any legend. The name was whispered in fear across Europe. Children grew up hearing it in nightmares. And enemies. They didn't just die, they disappeared. His name was Vlad Țepeș. The world called him Vlad the Impaler. In the 15th century, his shadow ruled over Wallachia, a land torn between empires, where loyalty could vanish overnight, and blood was the price of peace. Born in 1431, inside a fortress in Transylvania, Vlad's story began in darkness. His father, Vlad Dracula, was part of the Order of the Dragon, a brotherhood sworn to defend Christianity, but betrayal was a family tradition. When the Ottoman Turks demanded hostages to ensure loyalty, Vlad's father offered his two young sons, Vlad and Radu. They were taken across the Danube, far from home, to a world of cruelty and chains. Years of torture followed. They were beaten, starved, forced to watch executions for disobedience. One brother broke under it, the other memorized everything. Vlad never forgot the screams, or the smell of blood in the sand. He learned that fear was power, and one day he would make the world fear him. When he finally returned home, his kingdom was gone. His father murdered, his brother buried alive, the throne stolen. Something inside him changed that day. The boy who was taken to die came back as a monster shaped by men. Vlad began his reign with vengeance. His enemies didn't just vanish, they were displayed. High above the fields, their bodies impaled on wooden stakes. The Turks called him Kazaklı Bey, the Impaler Prince, and they feared that name more than death itself. But Vlad didn't kill for pleasure. He killed for order, for power, for control. He ruled Wallachia with iron and fire. Thieves were impaled, traitors were burned, lies were punished by blood, and soon, the land became silent. No one dared to steal, no one dared to speak, no one dared to breathe too loud. When the Ottoman Empire sent 20,000 soldiers to crush him, they never returned. Instead, their commander found forests filled with impaled men, a sea of corpses stretching for miles. The smell was unbearable. The silence, worse than the screams. Even the Sultan himself, the most powerful ruler in the world, refused to advance. He turned back, whispering, "Who could fight a man who's already in hell?" But behind the terror, there was logic. Vlad believed fear could build a kingdom faster than faith. And for a time it worked. He rebuilt Wallachia's economy. He drove out corruption. And people, the same people who once hid from him, called him a protector, a necessary evil. Yet legends are rarely told by their heroes. Foreign rulers hated him. The church called him the devil reborn. Writers from Germany and Italy spread tales of his cruelty, of feasts among corpses, of blood-soaked banquets, of Vlad dipping his bread into the blood of his enemies. Were they true? Maybe not. But Europe believed them, and soon, Dracula was born. The word Dracul meant dragon, but in time it twisted to devil. And Dracula became son of the devil. Centuries later, Bram Stoker heard those stories, tales of a ruthless Wallachian prince who drank blood to keep his enemies in fear. He merged myth with man, turning history into horror. But the truth remains, the real Dracula was not undead. He was alive, all too alive. History records his punishments in detail. One story tells of a group of envoys from the Ottoman Empire who refused to remove their turbans before him. He praised their loyalty to faith, then ordered the turbans nailed to their heads. Another story. A thief was caught stealing from the royal treasury. Vlad had him impaled in front of the crowd. Then he turned to them and said, "Now the rest of you, sleep in peace." For the first time in centuries, there was peace. But it came at the cost of humanity. Vlad's obsession grew. Power turned to paranoia, and paranoia turned to madness. He trusted no one, not even his allies, not even his own blood. Soon the same nobles who once feared him plotted against him. The throne he fought for, the blood he spilled, all burned away in betrayal once again. Vlad was captured, thrown into a dungeon in Hungary. But even in chains, he refused to kneel. When a guard mocked him, Vlad smiled. He took a rat that crawled into his cell, impaled it on a stick, and said, "At least someone still bows before me." After years of imprisonment, he was released and returned to reclaim his crown one last time. But his kingdom had changed. His enemies waited, and this time, he didn't escape the blade. In 1476, Vlad the Impaler was killed, his head taken as proof, sent to Constantinople, and displayed on a spike. His body was buried in secret, and for centuries, no one could find it. Some say it lies at Snagov Monastery, beneath a stone slab sealed by time. Others believe the monks moved it, to hide his soul from the devil he served. But when archaeologists searched the tomb in the 1930s, they found no bones, only animal remains. No one knows where Vlad's body rests, or if he rests at all. Even today, villagers near the ruins whisper his name carefully. They say his spirit still walks the forests of Transylvania, searching for the enemies who betrayed him. They call it the March of the Impaler. Every few years, someone claims to see a lone rider on horseback near the old Wallachian border, armor cracked, eyes burning red, dragging a shadow that moves on its own. Most laugh, but some swear the sound of hooves follows them long after. And when fog covers the Carpathian Mountains, the old people close their doors. Because they say, that's when he rides. History wrote him as a monster. Legends made him immortal. But the truth? He was both victim and villain. A man turned into myth, and myth turned into fear. He didn't need fangs to terrify the world. He needed only a crown, and the will to use it. The real Dracula never slept in coffins. He didn't drink blood. He created fear so deep, it outlived him. Centuries later, we still speak his name. And somewhere in the silence of Transylvania's hills, you can almost hear it whispered back. Dracula. A name carved not by fiction, but by the screams of the real. And perhaps that's why his story never dies. Because sometimes the scariest monsters were human all along. This was the untold story of Vlad the Impaler, the man who became Dracula. And if you ever find yourself standing in the shadows of Bran Castle, don't look too long into the dark. You might find it's already looking back. If you made it this far, you've walked through history's darkest legend. But many more still wait to be uncovered. Subscribe to Haunted Palace and join us where every story breathes again. Because here, the past never stays buried.